You're listening to the PR Wind Down Podcast, the show for public relations professionals who are ready to see real change in the PR industry. We are your hosts, April White and Laura Schooler. Let's get ready to wind down. So welcome back to the PR Wind Down Podcast for another special episode where we are doing April's Reads. This is an episode where I'm going to be reading an article that I wrote for Forbes magazine. And then at the very end, I'll provide a few thoughts that I have since having published the article and where it's striking me today. But in the meantime, I want you to sit back, relax, and enjoy this deep dive into one of the topics that I think is most important for PR practitioners to be considering in today's day and age. So the reason that I wrote this article in large part is from talking to countless prospects who have had a very bad experience with PR in the past and are so scarred by it that they're barely able to talk to me about it and hardly considering doing it again. But there's a part of them that still hopes that somewhere deep down, they'll find a PR agency that can actually deliver on what they were hoping the PR would achieve for them. And so I actually wrote this in large part to help when I'm talking to clients and prospects that have been really burned in the past, and help, and in the hopes that this helps explain to them some of the pitfalls they might have run into, why those things might have happened, and reframe it and reset their mindset around PR so that they have hope again. So that's where this comes from. All right, with that, the title of the article is Suffering from Public Relations Skepticism Disorder: 3 Tips for Agencies and Brands to Recover. I have talked to countless prospects over the past year who are suffering from what I call public relations skepticism disorder, PRSD. Their stories sound similar. They paid a firm or consultant thousands of dollars and got nothing. They don't even know whether anything was done. Or they loved the senior executive who pitched the business but were then handed off to a 20-something practitioner who didn't inspire confidence or get the job done. Now they know they need help with an upcoming announcement, but their team is too scarred by the bad experience to put that kind of money into PR again. This isn't just a problem in the US either. Some of my contemporaries in the UK say they're seeing the same thing, finding themselves speaking with countless prospects who have had a traumatic PR experience and are now very jaded. A lot of PRSD is due to bad PR practices, given that the industry isn't safeguarded by any kind of exam. As a result, there's too much mass pitching and stalkerish media follow-up happening. There's also a problem with senior PR professionals, quote, yesing clients to win their business rather than telling them why their expectations or approach should be adjusted, which then fuels over-aggressive, unstrategic media outreach. In addition, there's a problem with firms offloading too much of the work onto junior team members who lack the experience and confidence to counsel the client when something is needed to generate media coverage. A senior professional with over a decade of examples is sometimes the only one who can convincingly explain why the team needs a more media-soluble angle with a why now news peg, or why the brand needs to put its values into action through a creative offering, campaign, event, partnership, or proprietary research. Before we simply blame PRSD and PR pros, we must also address the issue from the client side. A lot of these bad PR practices are partially fueled by clients being overly confident their news is so interesting, it requires little effort for the media to learn about and then instantly convert to stories. Or that PR is something easy that they could do themselves but just don't have the time to handle. This leads to a multitude of problems with clients. Number 1, not being patient enough to let things unfold and blossom. Number 2, not spending enough money in PR for long enough to see meaningful results. Number 3, undervaluing the professional counsel being offered. Number four, not providing relevant insights, data, or proof points that would make the story mediagenic and newsworthy. So here are some tips for recovering from PRSD. If you or someone you know is suffering from PRSD, there is hope. First of all, public relations is an outdated term. It implies that an entity is the actor and the public just its audience, which is passe. Brand to audience communication today is a two-way street. If there's no integrity behind a narrative or a company isn't actually making the world a better place, today's discerning audiences will know or quickly figure it out. So will the media. Trust relations is a new approach to strategic communications that is more focused on communicating clients' authentic actions, value, and goodwill. In technology, trust relationships are an administration and communication link between two domains. In communications, they're a bond of mutual respect between a brand and the people it serves. Here are 3 tips for agencies looking to help clients with PRSD regain their confidence, in addition to ditching PR for trust relations. Number 1, educate clients and be honest. The best way to help prospects through PRSD is to be honest and educate them on how you do it differently. Help explain what steps should have been taken in the past to avoid the bad experiences and what to look out for when hiring PR professionals in the future. Number 2, carefully evaluate whether the client is really media ready. Is this a startup that wants media attention before there are any users on the platform? Does the client have regional presence but it wants national coverage? Are the branding and positioning clear? Is the budget realistic given the expectations? Number 3, identify client goals first. The client wants media coverage, but why? Do they want to generate sales among specific audiences, drive downloads, attract investors, facilitate an exit? Every client's needs and goals are different and should inform the PR strategy accordingly. Now, if you're a brand suffering from PRSD, there are 3 things you can do also to move past it. Number 1, hire professionals who are emotionally invested. When you hire a team that understands and is invested in your business, you can maximize your success and prevent your account from being handed off to a junior team member lacking the experience to offer expert counsel, strategy, and pushback. Number 2, find a team that can pitch all your target audiences. Many professionals specialize in a specific industry, but your business may span multiple verticals. Do you have an innovative healthcare app with tech, healthcare provider, and consumer stories to tell? Then you need a team that knows how to pitch all of those stories to the diverse media outlets. Number 3, go with your gut. Did you get kind of a smoke and mirrors vibe from the big firm with a great reputation, but have a really authentic connection with a boutique firm or freelancer? Trust your instincts. Also, keep in mind it's much harder to pitch a startup to the media than an established brand. So, if you're comparing a big firm that secured top tier results for marquee brands with a boutique firm that got similar results for a brand with no media presence, definitely give more weight to the latter. At the end of the day, trust is a two-way street. Clients need to hire professionals they trust to provide expert counsel, and practitioners need to trust their clients want honest advice, even if it flattens their initial assumptions or requests. When genuine counsel is received and accepted, the success that follows will help alleviate all PRSD symptoms. So, with that, I still see this as being an issue in today's PR industry. I do think it's improving a little bit. And I think that more and more practitioners and agencies are understanding that their clients really have to substantiate their claims. I like to say you have to do what you say before you can say what you do. And I think that that's never been more true around a time in, an age where people are demanding brand authenticity at every turn. And so you really, really, really have to be putting your money where your mouth is and doing the thing that you want people to believe about you before you can say that you're doing it. I would also suggest, I often say this to agencies, that if their clients aren't exactly walking the talk, that's okay too, but we need to point it out and then maybe brainstorm some suggestions around where could it be improved upon. So for example, I had a prospect once, and I don't want to name names, but I had a prospect who really wanted to be known for their sustainability practice because every time they brought a new fancy couch to a consumer, they would take away the old couch and then donate it to somebody in need. And I said, "That's amazing. Is this a formal program?" Like, "No, that's just something we do." And I said, "There's an amazing opportunity here for you then to formalize this, right? Like, make this something that you feature, that you are marketing on the website, and that there is, a system set up so that if people want to donate a couch, that they can just contact you and let you know. And then it's going to be very apparent that, you guys are really committed to sustainability in the space." And so that's the kind of example where, if you see a client that wants to be known for something and you see a way for them to, on their operations side of the business or even in the business model, I don't think as PR practitioners we should be limited to just the communication side of things. If we see that there's a way for them to do something that would then be salient to the press and something exciting for us to pitch to the journalists that we know would be interested in it, I think we suggest those things as well. So, with that, I would like to close out today's April's Reads episode. So, thank you for tuning in for April's Reads special episode of the PR Wind Down podcast with me, April White. You can read this article and my other writing for Forbes.com, Entrepreneur, and Newsweek at the link in the show notes below. Please remember to share our show with your friends and colleagues. If you subscribe and leave us a rating, it will help us reach new listeners like you. As always, you can submit your agency stories and questions to be featured on the show at the email address in the episode notes. And we can't wait to wind down with you again next time.